The land of echoes hopefully has been fixed. And we won't have that echoing anymore. But we are going to have our good friend, our good pal, Steve Stern, co-creator of Zen Intergalactic Ninja, and the writer of Bounty Wars coming up. So I wanted you guys to know that, yeah, Steve's going to be on in just a few minutes. So that way we can chat and talk about comics, talk about what's coming up with Zen while I am sketching and drawing and hanging out with you guys. So let's see here. Let me turn on this. So, hey, I got a camera. I got a face. I'm here. I got the comments on. How are you guys doing tonight? Let's see here. Mighty Geek. What is on tap for tonight? Indeed, I just was covering some of that. Luke. Hi, Bill. Hi, Luke. Glad that you're here with us, man. Mighty Geek, only your mom calls you William. This is very, very true. Oh my God! Actually, my mom's a full-blooded Puerto Rican. She calls me Wilito, so I am Wilito. So hey, guys, let me know right away if you hear any echoes when we start. I think it might have been on my end. I think because I put on headphones, I did something with the mic, and as far as I know, we got that jank fixed. So Kevin. Glad you're here, dude. You may all go home now. Kevin is here, my friends. Mark, God, I hope you worked out Steve's echo. I hope so too. I mean, the proof's going to be in the pudding here in about a minute. Kevin, a stir of echoes. The mute button does work wonders, but then we can't talk. We can't say stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what happens now. Chet, he says, now I have an echo. I certainly hope I don't. I'll check out my settings here in a minute. If you guys hear like an echo, especially if it was as bad as that other one, please let me know right away so I could do something about it. Kevin, something else with Biggs. I don't know. Kevin, what's that big piece of art on the wall in the background? Oh, that is an Art Adams original piece of artwork. Well, it's not an original piece of artwork. It's a giant print of a original piece of artwork that we had him sign. That was actually really cool. I'll give you a close. I'll take a picture of it so I can show you guys. Geez, it was 2 windows open on my end. Jeez. All right. Well, you know what? You know him. You know his echoes. Steve Stern. Writer, co-creator, Zen Intergalactic Ninja. Let's see if this works this time, Steve. What do you think?
Well, I want to say hi to Mark.
Uh-oh. There we go. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I want to say hi to Mark, to Kevin, to Chet, Luke, and the Mighty Geek. That's I really like that one. Guys, any echo on my part? Let me know. Let us know.
And let me know too, because post it up in the chat. You know what I did right now? I unplugged the microphone. I think this is something to do with my computer, because I unplugged the mic. I can hear you just fine. Now I don't know how my voice sounds to everybody out there, but the mic is supposed to help me sound a little bit better. But if the mic that's built into the computer is doing the job, then hey, we're all good, right? So. Nice. Of course, it might be the mic that's in my headphones too. I'm not really. I'll check my settings while we're here. We're all here right now. So internal microphone. Yeah, I'm using whatever's on the computer right now. So let's see how this goes, and we'll be good to go. Chet says we're good to go. Luke, hey Bill, I've managed to wrangle up every variant action figure of Nereus, platinum, gold, all the colors, but I have to know. Was there ever a statue or a bust of her released? Luke, for your information, no, there has not. We got a sneaky cat mouse in the house back here. And there she goes. Hello, Kati. Come say hi to Steve, and then you can
say hi to everybody.
Now she can't hear anybody, obviously, because I got the headphones in. But they can hear you. I don't know. Is that a lot of tea?
Lemonade.
Oh, lemonade. She's got lemonade. We're good.
Mm-hmm.
We're good.
Wow, it's huge though. It's a huge.
Yeah. This is like a 7-Eleven special.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
the this is the ultimate gulp.
The ultimate gulp.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, I I used to call those kidney busters because as soon as I drank one, I had to run to the bathroom.
No, she's good to go. So I'm glad to see her smiling and feeling better. She was actually coloring some pages for Senor Stern here just about 5 minutes ago. So she's on the job. She's working. She's
Oh,
feeling yeah.
muchísimas
Yeah.
gracias.
There you go. There you go. He says muchísimas gracias.
Yeah, I'm just taking a break because my stomach hurts. So I'm going
Gotcha,
upstairs.
gotcha.
I'll watch a movie, come back up.
There you go. That sounds like a plan.
Enjoy.
Love you.
What you gonna watch?
I'll
What
see
is
you
What,
later.
what are you going to watch? He's asking.
Spirited Away.
Spirited Away.
Oh, very good choice.
There you go. There you go.
Mhm,
Good choice.
mhm.
Excellent choice. All right.
Enjoy.
We'll see.
Bye. I'm gonna have a snack.
All right. We'll see you.
That's great.
Mighty Geek says, "What's new, Steve?"
Well, what isn't new? So, okay, so here we have a small group of cool people, right? So I might as well, I'll mention a few things to you
Yeah,
folks.
yeah.
There is activity both on the Zen animated side and the Zen live action side. We've had a lot of activity in the past, and so been there, done that. But there seems to be more of an intense interest in Zen as a filmed property in both the animated and live action incarnations now. So it's possible, with a little luck, keep the fingers crossed, that we might be able to announce
Mhm.
something. I will tell you, I'm very reticent to announce anything unless it's really locked in stone. I'll give you a little example. Okay, way,
Mhm,
way,
mhm.
way back in the day, when Zen was just really popping in the pop culture area. Company named Ruby Spears, a really well-established old line animation company that had a lot of iconic properties. Right, they did a deal with us to do a Zen animated series, right?
Mhm.
And we placed some ads for that series in various trade publications like the Hollywood Reporter, and some buzz was created. And then, as it turned out, Ruby Spears closed its doors before they ever got to animate even like one cell of Zen. But it was it was a disconcerting, slightly embarrassing thing to me, that we had announced it and then nothing happened. And then we did have, after that, shortly thereafter, another near miss for an animated series. So now I'm very reticent to say anything other than that. We do have some interest at the current time.
That's good. That's good. Well, people don't realize how hard it is for any independent character to gain traction. I mean, Zen's been going since 1987, right? 87?
Yeah, November
Yeah.
1987.
And people and fans don't realize you bounce from say one publisher to the next publisher, and then you have certain deals or certain options are purchased, or like the video game came out, there was that whole era with Archie, and then
Yep.
things change, and then we go to another publisher, and now we're at First Comics. And that's just a testament to the character and how much people like
Oh
the
yeah.
character, because I mean it's so difficult for any character, for any title to survive, especially as long as Zen has. Holy smokes, right?
Yeah. Well, and when it comes to the live action side, we were twice
Oh,
optioned for a
yeah.
live action film.
Uh-huh.
And in the first instance, the director, Brian Usna, who was mostly known for things like Reanimator in the
Right.
horror area,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but he had also been co-creator of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Gotcha.
he was attached as director of the Zen movie, and a script
Mm-hmm.
was written, and there was all sorts of publicity, which you can probably still
Mm-hmm.
find some
Mm-hmm.
of it on the internet. And then at the last minute, the movie did not get made, which again is not highly unusual.
No.
in
Well, you know what?
Hollywood.
I'm everybody here. We're all very like-minded, and we keep track of like the movie industry. We know so much now because we have the internet, right? This is a different
Oh yeah.
time, So with properties kind of going into a Hollywood purgatory for a short amount of time is like, it's nothing unusual. That's something that we see happen to a lot of different properties, just huge properties that just put on hold for a little while, and we'll see how studios treat them and this and that, and look what's happening right now with all the big superhero. Look what's happening right now with DC. Such a huge transition. Things are getting put on hold and pulling back. They're pulling back on all of their advertising for certain things because the response is this, pushing certain things forward because the response is that. I won't say specifics because we all keep track of that stuff. But I'm just saying, it's Hollywood's and Hollywood and comics in general. It's a very difficult business to survive.
Sure. But remember, right now, there's also the complicating factor of the strikes, and for both the writers and the actors. So
for sure, for sure.
It's a pretty
and didn't they reach they reached a deal at one point, like around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then there's something where it fell apart, and now it's not a deal. So everybody's angry, and there's all of that to say that it's a complicated business, a lot of moving parts.
Right.
So Kevin says the wildcat has been unleashed.
Absolutely.
All right. Luke, well, for the record, the action figures all look great on my wall of waifus. Excellent. I am honored, good sir. Joe, if there was a statue of Nira X, I would have to own it. You honor me, my good sir. Yeah, dude, I have been looking. I've had a couple of interested people before to partner with, and they just haven't come through just yet. So I've got my eyes. I would really like to have a statue, like an anime, manga style statue of Nira X. But you know what? I got my eyes open. It's like, Kevin, 100 ounces of cool liquid goodness. Yeah, she needed help to carry it downstairs. Ched, everyone needs to light a match on Bill for that statue. Oh, hey, dude, as soon as I find someone to partner with, or just find the right person, and we can actually kind of fund a small amount, and as we sell statues, move up from there. So you and I have talked about that, but definitely would love to do that. Mighty Geek, the ultimate gulp that one size drink. And I've got one of those somewhere too. It's like I've got one of those giant cups. Those are lifesavers, or they're killing my kidneys. I'm not really sure which one. Luke, at Joe. Oh, he's talking to Joe. Hence my sadness at there being none of her. Yeah. I'm bummed out that we don't have. And we did have Shocker toys. I don't know if you guys remember the Jerry Springer story that was Shocker toys. We almost had a Zen action figure and a Nira X action figure in their indie spotlight line. But unfortunately, the company was not everything that it was presented as being. So, if they weren't operating in an honest way, maybe it's all for the best, and we should just move on and find new people to work with. So it's a good experience, bad experience, but I like the fact that we're moving on. So let's see, Mark. Yeah, Steve, if you could make it happen and there was nothing stopping you, would you go animated or live action? Do you have a preference between the two?
Okay.
What would you prefer?
Well, my answer is this: I want to see both. I want to see both happen.
Oh, see, that's not fair. That's not fair. If the gates were open, well, basically, of course, you would want both. But which one would you want first, or which one would you have a preference?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I mean,
it's a tough one.
That's like splitting the baby.
It's splitting the baby. Well, I'll make it easy for you. I would prefer. I mean, assuming both were going to happen, and like me choosing one wouldn't make the other one disappear. I would prefer seeing that animated feature first, and I would prefer seeing it in a very, very cool, stylized kind of way, like something very. Not necessarily into the Spider-Verse, but kind of like leaning somewhere between maybe anime and maybe like that Spider-Verse kind of style. It's like a little bit of 3D, like, because with all this fighting moves and all of this, and then all the creatures and aliens that you'd have in there, dude, that would be dope. That would be super dope.
Yeah, I'd like to throw the question back at Mark and ask him, if I
Yeah,
might.
yeah.
If he had a choice to either first see an animated or a live action incarnation of Zen, which would he prefer? And I truly respect his opinion, especially since his middle name is Zen.
There you go. He's got some weight.
Oh, absolutely.
Ken, I'm glad you're here, dude. Glad you
Hey,
made
Ken.
it.
Nice to meet you.
Kevin
Ken.
also says he's glad you made it. Awesome. Ken is in the house, everybody. I would fund the the total fuck out of the statue. Absolutely, dude. Dude, we find the right person to make that statue and make it based on some of our artwork and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll be totally on it. So yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Kevin. Absolutely. Chet, animated over live. See? Chet agrees with me.
Okay.
Chet agrees with me.
I'm
However,
live
Mark
action,
says
all right.
Mark says live action.
So you see, you folks are as divided as I am in my own mind.
It's if I had to decide between one or the other, that's now you are splitting the baby. So
yeah,
but
we are
but
pursuing both.
pursuing both. Yeah.
I've written along with a director
Mhm.
friend who, at the moment, I can't divulge his name, but we've written a live action movie script. Okay. And we're talking to an animation company that just came out of the blue to us about that. So we're following both tracks. But once again, it's the Hollywood system complicated by strikes and what the aftermath of the strikes, how that's going to work out. It's always sort of a maze and a puzzle. And
it really is.
But I've got very good people associated with us, particularly a guy whose name I've mentioned before, Ken F. Levin. Ken is the founder and publisher of First Comics, and he's also, like currently an executive producer on The Boys. He negotiated that show with Amazon Prime for his client Garth Ennis, and Ken's been involved with the Hellboy for Mike Mignola and Road to Perdition with Max Oncon. So we're in really great hands with Ken. He's an amazing guy, and I've known him and for over a decade now. And First Comics has been publishing us for that decade, and will continue to publish us. Because Ken is not only the best, but he's just a great human being.
Oh, Ken is totally dope. I love Ken. Yeah. Let's see. Ken says animated because there are few people that could pull off a no nonsense, no nose in in live action.
Okay. So let's talk about this. You see, okay. So when Zen was originally designed, created visually by Dan Cody, basically he just had eyes. He did not have a nose, and he did not have a mouth. Zen now has both a nose and a mouth, and that's because in a book published around 2005, was it? Called Zen Bounty Hunter, that I wrote and the esteemed Bill Mouse drew.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah.
Who is that guy?
What happened is I explained how, as a delayed result of the genetic test tube type experiment in which Zen was created, he actually grew the rest of his face. Okay. I did this for a bunch of complicated reasons, but I'd been wanting to do it for a long time. I will say that Dan Cody, who I'm hoping will join us on one of these very soon, Dan was not ecstatic about me doing it because it modified his original design.
Sure.
So something I did as sort of an accommodation is I had Tinhead, Zen's robotic manservant, design a quote unquote breathing mask for Zen, which Zen puts on at various times when he's in different environments. Okay.
Right. So kind of like meeting in the middle a little compromise. So that way.
So Zen has the option of looking like, more humanoid face with nose and mouth. But when he
Mhm.
puts that mask on, as in the picture you just put up that you, of course, did, Zen's
Mhm.
actually wearing that breathing mask there. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, and I'll be honest with you, until the day would come that an animated series and or a live action flick were greenlit, it's still up in the air as to how Zen will be portrayed, and he could conceivably be portrayed either way in either medium.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, absolutely,
these
absolutely.
are
But
the
but but the mask is a great compromise for what you're doing right now because your in canon story right now has him with a face,
yeah,
and the mask that he has that he's wearing that makes him look a little bit more like the classic Zen, like it does morph back
right,
and forth onto his face, so he's not just taking off a mask and tossing it to one side. It's part of his
right, and
you
I'd
know
be
it-
curious. Yeah,
mm, yeah,
I'd be
yeah, exactly.
curious. I'd be curious to know how the folks in the room, Luke, Chet, the mighty geek, Kevin,
Yeah, yeah.
Mark,
Tell us what you
Dan,
think about
tell
that.
us
Tell
what you
you.
think, and don't spare me. I mean, believe me, Dan didn't spare me when I decided to give Santa nose in the mouth.
well, while we get a couple of those opinions from our esteemed audience, our esteemed friends, Luke,
Studio Wits, yeah,
yeah, getting a solid anime studio, yeah, studio that would be perfect. Yeah, totally agree with you, Luke. Not saying them specifically; they came to mind as an example.
right,
Totally understand. Yep, I agree with you. Mighty Geek, always animated. You can go like a 1-to-1 adaptation. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. You could
yeah.
do things with art that you just can't do with live action, as
Oh,
far
sure.
as like communicating. Mark, Bill, what Comic Con will you be at next? Are you going to New York City Comic Con? Do you generally go to San Diego Comic Con? The only Comic Con that I know that I'm going to for 2024 will be San Diego. I don't believe I'm going to be in Artist Alley. I've been in Artist Alley now for, gosh, I think 16 years, maybe 17 years.
Mm.
Um, but I will be back and forth. Either you'll either find me at the Committed Comics small press booth. I'll have probably some hours that are set up there, and then I'll talk to our good friend Steve about maybe having me over at the First Comics booth. The rest of the
Oh,
time,
sure.
I might be floating around and doing some networking that I haven't been able to do in a long time because working the Artist Alley table, which has been a privilege. I mean, it's Clydeen Nee took me into Artist Alley and got me my first spot there years ago, and she always made sure that I was taken care of. She's super cool, and she's just taking care of Artist Alley just so well, and she's actually quite the inspiration to a lot of us. And I'm glad that I can say that I didn't let her down as far as like maintaining my table and maintaining what I was doing there. So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, working the table prevents me from doing lots of other things at the show. So we're going to see about maybe transitioning back to, because when I first started going to San Diego with Don Chin with Parody Press and Entity Comics, we had our own booth, we had our own our own track lighting and our own schedule and our own things there. So yeah, I'll be there in 2024, probably at both of the publisher booths, but not in Artist Alley. Just so you know. And as far as everything else, I have to list it on my website as I get the schedule going. Kevin, now I hear Zen sounding like James Earl Jones.
Yeah, that's cool. But by the way, I have a little
Mm.
news about an appearance I'll be making at
Yes, yeah,
L.A. Los Angeles Comic Con.
yeah. That's coming up soon. Yeah, that's
First weekend in December.
yep.
Although First Comics is not having a booth there,
Hmm.
a fellow named Josiah Golager. I'm never sure if I'm pronouncing Josiah's last name correctly, but his YouTube channel is called Josiah is Right, Write. He's a writer
He thinks he's
and
always right.
yeah, and an English professor. And Josiah has his own booth at LA Con, and he very cordially invited me to appear at it both on the Saturday and the Sunday
Hmm.
from noon to 2 on both days. And when I'm there, I'm gonna bring some special, collectibles that people tend to want to get from me, like Zen #1, from 1987,
Mhm.
and some of the L'Amour Supreme books. All of these are, like kind of rare-ish, but I'll bring them
Exactly.
and hopefully
No, that's good.
bring.
And those are 2023 appearances yet. So I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm actually kind of done for 2023. So I'm glad that you're still hitting some spots.
yeah.
I'm spending the rest of this year really playing catch up. I've got commissions that are behind. I'm looking at you, Joe. And I've got interior pages, and I've got projects and things with Steve right now that I'm catching up on. So that's what I'm using the rest of this year for, is for catching up on
You
all
know
of
what I'd
those.
like to ask the guys? Is
Yeah.
anybody in the room, so to speak, going to attend LA Con?
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know.
Because if
Oh,
they do, I'll have something special for them.
okay.
I'll
Awesome.
give them something,
Well, if any, yeah.
just for being here.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, we'll keep track of that. Chet was asking what opinion. He had to step out for a second. The opinion that we were asking everybody in the room is what your opinion was about Zen having a face, and about the fact that we compromised a little bit by having him wear a mask that morphs on and off, so he can kind of go between his classic look and the
Yeah.
more current look where he's got a nose and a mouth. That was the opinion that we're waiting to see what you guys thought about that. Mike, I'm glad for the compromise mask. Best of both worlds. Yeah, I agree with you, dude. I do.
All
I agree
right.
with you.
Hey, Mike, that was my thinking entirely. So you're my kind
Yeah.
of guy.
Yeah. They had to meet in the middle a little bit. So that's good. That's good. Kevin, no Artist Alley. No. Yeah, I'm really bummed out about it too. But at the same time, it's like I'm trying to take the negative and trying to squeeze out as much of the positive out of it. So I'm just looking at what it is I can do if I'm not going to be in Artist Alley. So yeah, I know, it's like it was such a thing to be there in Artist Alley for all these years. I mean, that was my second home. Luke, yeah, with comic, manga, cartoon, anime, you can essentially draw anything as big as your imagination, but live action requires compromise unless you can wrangle a Disney WB level style budget. You're right about that, Luke. You're right. I mean, look at something like Avatar. It's like that type of. You know what? Avatar is like 3% live action and mostly animated. So I would almost call Avatar an animated feature at this point.
Yeah, what's that motion captures? I gotta go,
Yeah.
guys.
Oh, Ken, you got to go. All right, man. It's like, thanks for stopping in for a minute.
Thanks, Ken. Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
sir.
appreciate that, dude. I appreciate you being here, bro. Mark, Steve, I will be at LA Comic Con. Hope to see you there. I'm doing a Ditko panel.
Well,
That'd be
nobody
sweet.
can do that better than you, Mark. And because you heard it here first, I'm going to give you something, a little gift. I'll tell you, I recently came across a trove of Sam Keith Chromium Zen trading cards. Okay. And anybody who comes by from this show, I will not only give you one of them, but I'll sign it.
Awesome.
No
That's
cost,
really
no
cool.
charge. I'm not into doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So thank
And that's
Mark,
and that Sam Keith image is so cool, dude. That I'm glad you found those. That's pretty
well,
awesome.
do you know the derivation of that Sam Keith image? Do you know how that came about?
Tell me.
Okay, so Sam had just had a big success with the Max, MAXX, his character, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the first issue of the Max is this character bent over with his arms like splayed out in front of him.
Oh yeah.
And so when I was talking to Sam, I said, "Look, you can do anything you want for Zen." So what he did is he did an homage to himself. The cover of the Zen Earth Day Annual is Zen in the exact same position as the Max on Max #1. And so yeah. That's
cool. Chet, I'm done with cons. I've talked to Chet about this before.
Really?
It's just, well, especially San Diego Con, only because it's so crazy to get in. It's like when they put the tickets up for sale, they sell out in seconds. I mean, it's like everybody's on the computer, all trying to get the same get into the same thing all at the same time. It's kind of a zoo. But you know, the smaller cons, the medium to small conventions, they're fantastic, and they're really geared a little bit more towards comics and towards art and collecting
Right.
than they are like the bigger shows. But you know, look what happened to San Diego this past year. There's almost no Hollywood because of everything that was going on, and
Yeah.
they literally, all the artists were doing the opposite of complaining because they had like their best year ever. People were spending, and people weren't in the different halls, like the big Hall H where they usually have movie previews and
Yeah.
celebrity panels and things like that. So the show itself did better than ever without all of the Hollywood presence at the show. So, but it's still some of these shows are just so big, and it's quite a
Yeah.
lot. It's a big thing to try to get in there. Luke, no, a couple thousand miles out of my way.
Okay. So I guess Luke is on the
So
on the West Coast.
Luke's not going to be there. Yep. Kevin, LACC, but only on Friday.
Only on Friday. So
Yeah.
okay. So well, hey, listen. It's not difficult for me to put something in the mail to anybody. So if you're
There you
in
go.
this
There you go.
group and you can't get to there, just make sure that Bill gets your mailing address, and you will receive a free Sam Keith Chromium Zen card that I will sign. Happy
You know,
to do that, Kevin.
You know, if you guys want to, you can go to. Let me see if I could find a thing here. Well, you can just go to my website. There's a contact form on my website, or I just don't have a thing already popped up with my email address on it.
Right.
So, but my email address, if you want to email me directly, put in the subject. We were live at the show with Steve or something like that. No, just let me know that Steve offered you a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can either hit the contact thing on my website or just email me directly as billmouseart, one word, @gmail.com. And you'll be able to find me. It's like all my social media is like Bill Mouse Art. So if you email me at billmouseart@gmail.com, I'll make sure that I'll give Steve your mailing addresses and stuff, and he will send you the little thing. There's 5 or 6 of you in the room right now, so you guys are the ones who knows. And if anybody's not watching this live, I'm so sorry you missed out. This is only for the live
Right.
audience.
Right. So something else I might mention is that, although we had that audio difficulty last week, we've now overcome that. And I've I
think we're doing better. Yep.
Yeah. And I've kind of convinced Bill to allow me to join him on all of these Saturday night gigs.
And anytime you want to come in, Steve, you're welcome. We have some other people that are going to come in as guests too every once in a while, and
Absolutely.
We'll talk comics, we'll talk Zen. I was actually kind of surprised. We're like over 30 minutes into the thing. I haven't even started sketching it because I've been doing the thing. But this is so cool that we can chat back and forth. With everybody. So this is important. Also, Chet says, I prefer the original style for the most part. It was what I was introed in. So the original style, you mean the classic Zen without the face. So that's what you were preferring more. Yeah. Mighty Geek Studios, meeting in the middle is good. Yeah.
I think
we like to compromise. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think our whole political system could use a bit more of that.
Luke, it's more related to Roger Rabbit than anything. I think I understand that reference. Let's see, Mark, Bill, I really like your panel layouts and the use of full pages. I'm really curious as to how you lay out a story. How much planning do you do when working out a particular issue relative to panel layouts? I'm very organic the way that I work. When I do lay out my panels, like I'm very influenced by the way, like those early issues of Spawn, when Todd McFarlane was just laying out the panels in a certain way that your eye is still following, left to right, like you should be. But sometimes there's parts of the panel or parts of an image that you really want to pop out. That's the thing visually that you want people to really concentrate on more than anything else. But as far as like laying out a story, I tend to play things in my head like a movie. And I usually have a bunch of like Post-it notes or just on a big sheet of paper, like a bunch of thumbnails. and I'll play that in my head over and over again, like a movie, until I kind of get the movie that I want. So that's kind of the way I do it. And I'm fine tuning the artwork right up until the moment that I'm lettering it. So I might decide to change something. I may decide to flip a panel, flip a character, do something, but it's a very organic process. I'm not very mechanical in my process, where it's like I really know that I want to do this, like 1 through 10. I'm doing this. I sort of go 1 to 5 looks really cool. 4, 8. Wow, 10, it's got to end on 10. It's got to end on 10. So now I got to go back and change 3. It's like I go back and forth a little bit. It's spaghetti until I finally come up with the full thing. So thanks for asking that. That's really cool. My process is messy. What's your process, Steve? What's your process? Because you're a writer. You think differently. You think a lot more clearly than I do. I'm a cloudy mess until I finally come out of the storm.
Well, I've been writing scripts for several decades, and my approach has always been in the description part of each panel, which is in essence a note for the artist. I'm always as terse as possible, because I want the artist to exercise the maximum amount of their creativity, because, as I've often said, the artist is the director. Okay. It's like when somebody writes a screenplay, right?
Sure.
It's all words on paper. But then when the director gets it, he blocks out and does storyboards and all the things you do.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you, because like when I'm reading your scripts, when I'm drawing things based on your scripts, I think of myself as holding the camera, and I'm walking around the room going, which way should I capture this the way that you explained it? So yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a cool way to view that. Yeah.
Right. And certain artists have very elaborate, many pages long in some cases, descriptions of what they want to see in as little as one panel. I just don't do that because I just feel I'm constraining an artist's creativity if I tell him exactly what I think he should draw. I'm not the visual guy. I'm the word guy. Okay,
right.
I deal with things like character and plot, essentially, but what it's going to look like is left up to Bill. And what we could do one day, Bill, is we could just take maybe a 1 page of script from Bounty Wars. And we could read through what the script is saying and show what you're drawing. Now, of course,
I think that would be fun. Yeah. We can do that, and then we could take comments from the thing while we can juggle that. I'll upgrade this software, so that way I have to upgrade it in order for me to have more than one camera at the same time. So that way I could be talking, and then I can also be looking down at the artwork. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I have a question for Mark. I'm wondering if Mark had a sense of how his uncle approached laying out a story. I don't know if you, Mark, got into that kind of the weeds with him, but we're talking Steve Ditko here, and it was interesting to know that.
Yeah, for sure. I tell you what, I'll read some other comments while Mark. Hopefully, Mark, you'll get back to Steve and answer him on that, and we'll read a couple of things. That'll give you a minute to type a little bit. Kevin, I only get into San Diego because I've been working for the show for almost 30 years now. That's right.
What does Kevin do there?
Kevin is a photographer. And a fantastic photographer. He's an amazing photographer. He's gotten me from angles around the show that you would not believe. It's crazy, like these overhead angles looking down on the show. That's one of my favorite pictures ever. So, but yeah, he's a photographer. He takes photographs of cosplay players, people at the show, almost like journalistic type of photos, like panels and stuff like that. He does creative stuff. He's a fantastic photographer. Mighty Geek. I'm in Chicago, so I can't go. Sorry, brother. Sorry. Luke. Oh, let's see. We've been talking for a while, so I'm not sure what you're saying. To, but Kevin. Woohoo! Thank you. Let's see. All right, Mark. do you consider the panel layout and possible number of full pages to keep it at a certain number of pages? It seems that the story can get out of control page-wise. Do you rough everything out to make it fit? Yeah, the bigger beats. Yeah, the bigger beats. It's almost like if you could think of animation in a way, you have keyframes, and and then everything that goes in between those keyframes, like you can kind of play with. But there's certain story points that you really need to hit when you're thinking about what you want your story to be about, where it's going to end, where there's going to be some big things happening in the middle. So that way it does stay constrained between, because really I can take a scene of somebody walking down a hallway and going into their apartment and taking off their shoes. I can make that 50 pages long if I wanted to, if we really wanted to follow every single little thing. So yeah, there's some tricks to it in order to keep it within a certain amount. Chet says, "Yep." Mighty Geek says the classic Zen was cool, so he votes for the classic Zen. Yep. Oh, Chet from the rafter photo. Yes, you know which photo I was talking about. Yep. Mark's response to your question. No, regarding my uncle's layouts, I don't. But reading Zen and Nira really got me thinking about it. If my uncle were still around, I would ask him.
Yeah, it would be great if your uncle were still around.
Thanks so much for. I'm glad that reading Zen and Nira made you think of those things, made you question, like, oh, how is that put together? It got you interested in it. I think that's really cool, because that's people don't know, like, the behind the scenes of the thought process or the amount of hours that actually goes into making these stories and creating these things. So yeah, that makes me feel really happy that conjured that up in you.
Yeah.
Well,
art is. Hey, I'm glad you're feeling good about that, Luke.
There you go.
I'm happy to do that, and I figure if I'm going to be on some of these shows, I have to have something cool to give the folks who support us and take the time out to check in with us, which is great.
Exactly.
And I'm happy to do it. You got it, Luke. So, Bill, you going to draw anything today?
I was thinking about that just now. I was like, you know what? I haven't sketched anything yet.
Yeah, right.
And then so let me see if my camera's going to be. There you go. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, I have I've got a stack of commissions that I'm catching up on. So this one is a sketch card, and I'm going to be drawing Poison Ivy. Kind of a PG-13 Poison Ivy image on this
PG-13,
one. So, yeah. So I'll work on this while we talk, and I'll look up every now and then so that way I can see whether or not we have any. Oh, I like how it flips over like that. Do you really have to flip over on me? Yeah, the phone's being weird. All right, well,
let's see.
Here, yeah, stay like this. Stay like that. You know what? If it's not one technological thing, it's another. You know what I
mean? I'm gonna step away for a sec, because I think I can dig out one of those those very cards I'm gonna be given.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Step away for a second and grab that card. We'll be here sketching.
Wait, I may even have one. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I got it. I will step
away
for a sec.
Yeah. As Steve steps away into the darkness. There we go. Well, I'll keep this up here until Steve returns. Let's see. Poison Ivy? That makes me itch. All right. Well, let's see what we have here. Make sure I can see what I'm doing, and make sure the camera can see what we're doing. Yeah, this be a good time to.
So you want to see something here?
Let's see what you got.
I found a trove of this card. This is the Sam Keith his homage to his own Max character. See, if you look at the cover of Max #1, it's this exact.
For sure.
It's
Yeah,
this
that's a classic.
exact pose,
That's a
right?
classic pose by him. Yeah, yeah.
And this is the original card, which talks about the chromium. You see
Uh-huh.
it? And I had found in storage. Look, this is a whole stack of them. Can you see that?
Nice.
A huge stack. So I found them, and I'm happy to share them with you guys. Yeah, it's great. It's just a nice, it's kind of shiny. So when I hold it up here, you see a lot of shine. But I'm sure you can get. Yeah, you see it. There it is. There's that Zen as the Max pose there, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, look at that.
Sweet.
I still
I love Sam Keith.
Turned on, but yeah, it's great. Sam's a great guy. I actually created something with him that we never actually brought to life, but one day maybe.
You never know. I was like, this
You
is
never know.
this is a new era for comics. I think in general, it's like I think there's a niche that's a niche that
Mhm.
indies are really, there's a space here for us to fill, while
Yeah.
because the bigger companies are doing something different now. They're kind of scaling
Yeah.
back. They don't have the following that they used to have before.
I wonder
And
if
people are turning to independents for their comic book content. It's
Yeah.
like, give me something different, give me something new.
Well, speaking of which, I don't know if anybody in the room is familiar with the character Shy Girl that Bill and I also have a book coming out on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If anybody in the room is even familiar with the name or the character Shy Girl, let me know. And if not, we'll clue you in, or clue you in regardless. While Bill is doing this, is Poison Ivy, huh?
Yeah. We're gonna do a cool Poison Ivy sketch. I don't know if we're gonna get to the inks and really tighten it up, but at least we can do the pencils. We can get the pencil layout down.
It's always amazing to just see. You take a blank canvas and then suddenly comes alive. It's Steve bringing the shiny. Yeah,
Bringing the shiny. That's right. She had
shiny
seen the book, but never seen the inside. Oh, you've never seen the inside of that issue. Got you.
Okay, so the inside of this book. Okay, here's the deal with that book. It was called the Zen Earth Day Annual. I wonder if I have a copy here. Maybe I'll step away again in a moment. Okay, the story that's in that book is called Doomsday for Zen. I wrote it as a response to the death of Superman. That was a big event in the biz at the time, early 90s.
It was, yep.
So I wrote it, and Dan drew it in this very intricate black and white pen and ink style. Okay. And that was like in 93. Flash forward like 20 some odd years. Dan took a year out to figure out how to turn that book into a 3D book. Okay. With the red and the blue lenses. And he did. And that book, that Zen 3D book, continues to be one of the top selling Zen books at every convention, because as soon as, whether you're a kid or an adult, and you see those old school 3D glasses and the book, and Dan did such an amazing, it's one of the most eye-popping 3D books I've ever seen. I'll step away again, see if I can quickly find it. Okay.
I got you. We'll be sketching while you're out and about. There you go. Yeah, that was really cool. That actually, I want Dan to turn around and make one of my books into a 3D book. I want a 3D book. We're going to take a vote right now. How many people would like to see Dan turn one of my books into a 3D book? Or maybe I should draw a new book. I should draw a new book that's specifically for 3D. I wonder how he did that. Because I don't have the software for that. But I would be all about that, Jack. Luke, I know Shy Guy from Super Mario. Kevin, since it is now fall, is your leaving costume going to fall away? Only in the Club Corrupt version of her pinup art. Which, by the way, we're getting closer and closer to October. I think that we're going to try and do a small Club Corrupt Kickstarter.
Sorry, guys, I could not find that book. I tried.
I'll
eventually find it.
Now that I've got another, I've got a couple. Whoops, here we go. I've got a couple different printers set up for Club Corrupt stuff. So I am looking forward to that.
By the way, I was unable to quickly find that book, but I'll eventually find it. And that's another one that's very hard to find on eBay or anywhere.
Oh yeah,
very hard to find. The hardest to find book is that's rarer even than Zen #1. If you go on eBay, for example, there's like a dozen copies of Zen #1 available from 1987. And they range anywhere from like $1,000 to maybe $400 or $500, something like that. But the book you can't find anywhere, and I mean anywhere, not just on eBay, is issue number 6A of the Zen Color series from 1995, because the cover, just the cover of that book, is the very first piece of published comic book art by L'Amour Supreme, who originally was named Joel Orbeta. And that's L'Amour Supreme Zen is the subject of that first Kickstarter we did. I'm curious if anybody in the room, took advantage of that and is getting the L'Amour Supreme's Zen book, hardcover or soft cover that was available in Zen's first ever Kickstarter, and Zen's second ever Kickstarter is the book Bill and I are working on, Bounty Wars.
Yeah, I'm excited, dude. It's like, and I'm glad we're actually starting the Kickstarter in January, and because that gives us a little bit more time to really sit down. You know, we were talking about Sam Keith's artwork. This is funny because I just saw this. I just saw this. We did a parody quite a while back. Parody press. It was called The Tax instead of The Max. And it's like, and it was just an ash can. It was a 1/2 issue, and they're selling it for $248. And I think there's another, because we have more than one cover for it. I think this one over here is selling for $349. It's crazy. And look, Mouse. It's my life story.
Yeah, right. Everybody thinks that's you. I know.
Well, I tell you, the thing with that is when I first started going to San Diego Comic-Con, somebody actually did bring me a copy of Mouse by Art Spiegelman, and they thought it was me, and I had to explain to them. I had to explain to them seriously that it was not me, and as a joke, they had me sign it anyway.
Oh,
I was like, hey, as long as you understand that it's not actually me. Oh my goodness.
All right.
Now Luke does like the idea that Kevin had about the leaves falling away.
Yeah, right. So
Chet said a new book in 3D. You know, I was just asking the room while you were out whether or not we should get Dan to turn one of my books into a 3D book.
I don't think Dan wants to spend another year working on it. But if everybody can see what I'm holding here.
Yeah, what you got? What you got?
This is a mint condition copy of the aforementioned Zen issue 6A that has that cover is by L'Amour Supreme. This, if anybody has this book that's looking at this, hold the hell onto it, because it is impossible to find. I mean, impossible. You can scour the internet for days, as I have. And whoever owns this book is holding on to it for dear life. I'm telling you, this is that issue.
Cool.
Okay.
See, we're just talking about our Club Corrupt Kickstarter that's coming up a little bit later. So Kevin was making a little bit of a joke with Nira
three double
D.
Yeah, nice.
Which is very possible. We'll see, because that's going to be a pinup book. And it's got a lot of our parody hot chicks in it, so that'll be a lot of fun. Luke, I mean, I like the idea of her costume falling away. I mean, it's like, what's not to like?
Right.
Nira X in 3D. If not if hentai is your thing. I knew what you meant, Luke. Mark, yeah, Steve, I was totally in on that Kickstarter.
Yeah, that
cool.
Joe, you know, one of the great things about working in the comic book business, especially for as long as I have, yeah, you see, Luke was looking for that book. You can't find it.
Exactly.
You know, but one of the great things is working with people like Bill and Joel, i.e. or AKA L'Amour Supreme, Dan Cody, Mike Mignola, Jay Lee, and the list goes on. I mean, it's you know,
I am Willito Mausito Supreme.
That's right. And you see, Luke was looking for that book. Cannot find it, Luke. I mean,
can I find it? No, it's gonna be hard to find.
Yeah, I'll tell you where there is one. Okay, I sold one at a comic book convention to a guy named Cal, who owns a vintage comic book store in Huntington Beach, and he acquired that from me. And I have no idea if he's intending to sell it, you know, if it's in his inventory in the store, or keep it. Let me see. Hold on. I'm going to tell you the name of the store.
Gotcha.
I've got his card here, right here. His card right here, somewhere right here. Hold on. Cal, where is your card? There it is. Okay, it's called McFly's Comics.
McFly's. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. You get it?
Marty.
Buy, sell, trade old comic books. The owner, who's a very cool dude, his name is Cal Burke, Burke. The store is in Huntington Beach, and the email is mcfliescomics@socal.rr.com. Okay, that's quite a handle there. But he's got one. He made me part with it. It took a lot out of me to do it, but that's the only place where I can tell you I own about 2 or 3 copies. Period. That's it, right?
Yeah.
I don't even think Dan has any. If he does, he probably has one.
Right.
And now I know Cal has one. Anybody else? I just don't know.
Yeah, that's just it.
That book is valuable and difficult to find.
Well, it looks like Mark just got Young Zen issues 1, 2, and 3 today. So thanks, Mark. I'm glad you're excited to read them. We had a fun time with that. I actually wouldn't mind doing another Young Zen story. That would be a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
fun.
yeah. Now, Bill, you wrote and drew all of those. I might
Yeah.
actually want to. I might, if we do another Young Zen, I might actually want to write it. I hope you won't mind.
No, I think we'd have a lot of fun. I think we'd have a lot of fun with it.
Oh yes. Well, that's the beauty of Zen. It's like
Uh-huh.
unending stories. What does Mighty Geek say here?
So I was buying almost every title in the bad girl genre of comics in the 90s because I got tired of female characters relegated to teams. Yeah, it totally. Yeah, I wanted her to be front and center, you know? Yeah, she needed to be a front and center person. And it was really cool in the 90s because we always had our table like in the same kind of area that like Brian with Lady Death and Billy with She and you know all the bad girls of the 90s, you know. So it was really cool to be
Yeah.
part of the thing, you know. It's like I was really happy that that people were into it. And it's funny that if you watch some of the news reports back then, it was just so cringy watching them trying to interview you because it's like they didn't want to talk about them in sexy terms. Like it wasn't even cool to say that, yeah, they sell because they're cool and they're sexy and they're strong and they're smart and they're like amazing characters. You know, it's like, why can't these characters have all these qualities? And trying to make people feel guilty about
Right.
just because they were sexy or something like that. And all the male characters are like idealized versions of what we want the male characters to be too. It's like, I wish I had shoulders like that. Give me shoulders. These shoulders all squashed in.
Exactly.
So yeah, so we've reached about the 1 hour point of the show. I appreciate everybody coming on tonight. Steve, thanks for being here, dude. Like,
Well, listen, I'm invading your space. You're not going to get rid of me now. So
you see what happens? But you know, but thankfully, everybody is very happy that you don't echo anymore.
well, that's my
whatever it was I did on my end that fixed it from my side or your side. I'm not even sure where the problem was because this is uniquely a problem that you and I had. So whatever it is we're doing, I'm just going to keep on doing it because that's what fixed it.
Right on. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thanks to everybody who joined us. I hope we've, given you a little insight into whatever the hell it is we do.
Kevin says you just don't want the Liefeld feet.
Oh yeah.
You know, I've been working really hard on my feet. So, and it's because of friends like Kevin and Chet and Ken, and you know they keep me straight, man. You know, they keep me straight. Mark, thank you so much. Great show. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Steve. Thanks,
Thank
Mark,
you.
for being here. Yeah, thanks, Mark.
And thanks to everybody. We really appreciate the
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and play a little quick thing for the Zen Bounty Wars website. Play some credits, and we will see everybody here again on Saturday, 10 o'clock. Thanks so much. All right,
Thanks, guys.
have a good one. All right, bye-bye.